Bioluminescent creatures are some of the coolest in the entire animal kingdom, so it makes sense that glowing cryptids would also be very interesting. From giant serpents to spiders, here are some stories of absolutely fascinating bioluminescent cryptids. I've covered cases of freshwater octopuses before, but the Umbuza monster is easily the strangest. In 1957, a butler saw a glowing creature crawl out of the Umbuza River. The animal was large enough that it engulfed the pier it crawled onto. This wasn't the only sighting either, as an employee of the nearby Umbuza Dam saw a glowing animal swimming in the water. This animal was also said to turn its glow on and off. There were also other sightings reported to cryptozoologist Bernard Heuvelmans, but with fewer details. Heuvelmans came up with a couple theories as to what people were seeing. He thought that it could have been a group of glowing microorganisms or glowing beetle larvae. He also thought that it could have possibly been a glowing freshwater octopus. Africa had reports of freshwater octopuses elsewhere, and some species of octopus are bioluminescent. Still, he found that explanation to be a bit out there, since there are no known species of freshwater octopus. Barnum Brown was an American paleontologist known for discovering the T-Rex and wearing fur coats while excavating fossils. He was also the first witness to a mysterious undiscovered species of spider in modern-day Myanmar. Here's how he described the encounter. One day in central Burma, the trail in the jungle was exceptionally difficult. It was long past noon when I realized that the return journey would be equally long and tiring. Camp lay on the other side of a long range of hills, and there was a short cut from the main trail that would save several miles, but this trail was faint. I reached the supposed cutoff about dusk and followed it upward. Darkness came on swiftly, and my pony began to stumble. Somewhere we had missed the trail, for at intervals I could still glimpse the crest of the hills, and I knew my general direction. Fireflies sparkled here and there. A few feet away, I saw a ball of light as large as one's thumb. Tying the horse, I approached it as carefully as possible, finding it surrounded by thorny bushes. It did not move, and I pressed the brush aside until I was directly over it, and then struck a match. There in full view was a spider, his large oval abdomen grayish with darker markings. Still, he did not move, and as the match died out, his abdomen again glowed to full power, a completely oval light, similar in quality to that of the fireflies. Remembering native tales of poisonous insects, I wrapped a handkerchief around one hand, parted the brush with the other, and when close enough, made a quick grab. Alas, the handkerchief caught on a stick before I could encircle him, and my treasure scurried away. I followed as quickly as possible, but the light soon disappeared under stones, brush, or in some burrow, for I never saw it again. Many nights I searched in the jungle and questioned natives and white officers who had passed through that district, but apparently, no one else had reported a luminous spider, nor can I find record of any known elsewhere. Burmese never leave their houses after dark on account of their fear of spirits, so it is not surprising that the natives have never seen one. But some other traveler may be so fortunate as to capture one of these spiders. The place where I saw the specimen was between the villages of Kiada and Thitkai Pakoku district, about 120 miles west of Mandalay, Burma. 3 explanations were put forth for what the spider was. A spider that ate one of the fireflies Brown saw, one that had some sort of infection or fungi that was glowing, and a genuine new species. Brown dismissed the first 2 possibilities for 2 reasons. 1. Spiders usually don't eat bugs whole like how a frog might eat a firefly and glow. Secondly, if the spider did have some sort of glowing fungi or firefly inside, the entire body would glow and not just the thorax. Barnum was able to see it up close and clearly saw that only the thorax was glowing. While it wasn't the case here, Chad Arment found a story from Pennsylvania in 1873 where glowing spiders turned out to be ones that had eaten fireflies. A year after Barnum's sighting, a man named Cecil Bompus reported one of his own in Assam, India. He said that the spider had roughly half a dozen glowing spots on its underside, and it would activate them when it was scared. Bompus thought that this was some sort of defense mechanism. The next sighting would come almost a century later. Scientist Ramesh Shatragada collected a sighting and a photograph of a glowing spider in India. While it wasn't captured, it was said to glow a bright yellowish lime in color. The Great Lakes of the United States are home to a wide variety of strange aquatic cryptids, but one of the weirdest may be Bessie, the monster of Lake Erie. It's been reported numerous times since 1793, but the strangest report came from 1887. Two fishermen were by the lake near Toledo when they came across a massive 40-foot or 12-meter long animal. It was apparently writhing in pain, and they said it was glowing. Of course, when the men returned, the monster was gone. No other sightings of Bessie described the cryptid as glowing, although one in 1892 said it had blazing eyes like flames. Erie isn't the only lake to have a glowing monster, as Lake Lieda in China is also said to have one. Like many lake monsters, there are a wide variety of descriptions given to it. One interesting version is the Shiner. This is said to be a large but unknown shape in the water that gives off a luminous glow. It moves in a strange clockwise fashion and can also spout water. In 1980, a group of men were camping in Nepal next to a large log. The next day, they woke to find the log was actually an animal that was slowly moving away. Shocked, one of the men, a missionary named Rasham Podal from India, asked around about the animal. Apparently, it could grow to 40 feet in length and about 6 feet in circumference, or 12 by 2 meters. Although it moved very slowly, sometimes only a foot or 30 centimeters a day, it could quickly inhale animals that were in front of it. Strangest of all, it had two green glowing eyes that were used to attract prey at night. Now, how an animal this large and this slow had evaded discovery is something I can't explain. Jonathan Downs is a member of the Center for Fortean Zoology, a group that has investigated many cryptids. But he had one unfortunate encounter with a cryptid in Devon, England of all places. Downs was at an animal fair back in 1977 when he saw a strange frog with a glowing blue nose. He talked with the seller a bit, who told him that it was from Cameroon. Unfortunately, Downs didn't want to pay the £25 the seller was asking, so he left. It wouldn't be until much later that he found out such an animal wasn't supposed to exist. He was unable to recontact the seller, and the mystery of the flashlight frog remains unsolved. John Shepard, who you may remember from my video on lost cryptid evidence, also heard of a rainbow frog in Liberia. He talked to a witness who said that there was a frog that could produce a rainbow from its mouth. According to Shepard, the word rainbow in the local Manya language even translates to frog bridge. Mudskippers are a unique animal capable of breathing both in the water and on land. A species even more unique was spotted by farmer Tyson Hughes in 1986. He was on the island of Seram in Indonesia when he saw the strange animals. There was a small group of them emitting a pulsating red light by a river. Although he tried to grab one, he was unable to. Nobody has seen the species since his sighting. By far the most famous of the glowing cryptids are the Ropen and Dua. These are usually said to be pterosaur-like animals with a strange bioluminescent glow. The Dua is reported from mainland New Guinea, and the Ropen from some of the outlying islands. There are some other names given for the cryptid as well, like the Indava and the Seklobalo. Stories of these animals seem to go back a long time, but they only began being recorded in 1994. That's when outsiders like Carl Baugh heard stories of pterosaurs from missionaries. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Baugh is known for supposedly finding human and dinosaur footprints together in the United States. Many young Earth creationists, people who believe humans coexisted with dinosaurs and pterosaurs, also later became involved with the search for Ropens. One of the earliest Ropen sightings occurred in 1944, though it wasn't reported until the 2000s. In this sighting, World War II veteran Dwayne Hodgkinson was with a group of soldiers when a startled pig began running through the brush. That's when they saw a massive animal take off into the air. It had a 30-foot or 9-meter wingspan, a large tail, and a pterosaur-like head. In 1972, Umbuza Island official Stephen Cottingham reported seeing a strange light in the sky. He said it was moving in a slow, waving fashion and only lasted about 5 seconds. After finding information about the Ropen online, he later connected it to the cryptid. Sometime before 2001, a school's headmaster saw the Ropen sitting on a tree branch on Goodenough Island. He also said that it was glowing in the darkness. Cryptid hunter Dave Wurtzel, aka Dino Dave, also reported an encounter with the Ropen light. Although it only lasted a couple of seconds, he said it was golden and shimmering like an old streetlight. His associate Jonathan Whitcomb went on multiple Ropen expeditions. He once tried to bait a Ropen using a lizard. However, he was forced to stop the search after it was rumored that a group of bandits was going to attack his group. Sightings of the Ropen have often described them grave robbing. In 1949, a young boy was near a graveyard at night when he saw a glowing Ropen approach it. The Ropen dug up the body of a man, grabbed him, and then flew into the mountains to eat him. Others in the region have reported pterosaurs attacking and even killing people. One woman was presumably eaten after a dua grabbed her off of a beach and flew into the mountains where it was said to live. Now, the Ropen has always interested me due to one sighting in particular. Evelyn Chesman, an entomologist who collected a bunch of rare specimens, claimed to have seen them. But looking into the sighting, it's a bit more complex. You see, she never actually says that she saw a pterosaur or an animal at all. She only saw the lights, which she compared more to will-o-wisps and similar strange lights that have occurred all over the planet. So while she may have seen something unexplained there, her sighting probably isn't a pterosaur. I was reading about the nearby Min Min lights of Australia when I found an interesting theory. A couple people have suggested that perhaps an undiscovered species of owl with a bioluminescent organ is behind the lights. Others say it could be a bird that has some sort of glowing fungus on it. So who knows, maybe instead of a glowing pterosaur, the lights people are seeing are from another undiscovered species altogether. In fact, it's been said that most Ropen sightings in New Guinea are just of the glowing lights, not the animal itself. In one article, Whitcomb mentioned that most eyewitnesses openly said they only got short or unclear looks at the animal itself. Those who did see it clearly said it resembled a pterosaur drawing Whitcomb showed them more than a bird or a bat. But in his early expeditions, only 2 people he interviewed were able to pick the image out. Carl Schuker and other scientists and cryptozoologists have been very critical of identifying the Ropen and duas as pterosaurs. For starters, pterosaurs weren't known to be that strong. Schuker stated that their legs weren't very muscular, so they couldn't have picked a person up. Additionally, the last known pterosaur fossils are from 66 million years ago. Although we've found over 100 pterosaur species, none have been found that are younger than 66 million years. If you think glowing pterosaurs in Papua New Guinea are unlikely, they're also said to be found in the United States. Jonathan Whitcomb has claimed that thousands of people have seen them. Unlike in New Guinea, however, reports of them having bioluminescence are pretty rare. One notable sighting came from Washington State in 2007. It was at night when someone saw a bunch of flashing lights near a river. At first he thought it was a meteor shower, but after looking closer, he noticed they were all under the clouds. the lights appeared to be moving parallel to the river. He thought that the pterosaurs were hunting fish, as there were many in the river at that time. The lights were about the size of an eagle or a large hawk. This wouldn't be the only sighting either, as the same person also saw them early in the morning. Much like the mysterious lights Evelyn Chesman saw, some lights in the United States have been connected to glowing pterosaurs. Jonathan Whitcomb notably thought the Marfa lights of Texas and the Bingham lights of South Carolina were pterosaurs. However, there isn't really reason to believe these are pterosaurs. Whitcomb's evidence is that pterosaurs were reported in the same areas, and that some people said the lights appeared to move intelligently. Given the immense size of pterosaurs and the reasons listed by Dr. Schuker, I highly doubt that they're alive in either the United States or New Guinea. But the neat thing about cryptozoology is a bunch of the cryptids in this video I think are plausible. The glowing mud skipper, spider, and frog all seem like they could be real. I could see a glowing spider using bioluminescence to attract prey or as a defense mechanism. Barnum mentioned that it started to glow when he approached it, and we do have examples of animals in nature using bioluminescence to scare predators. Who knows, maybe these cryptids use their bioluminescence for something no currently known species does. That would be almost as cool as finding the cryptid itself. Thank you very much for watching. If you want more glowing cryptids, make sure you check out my video on deep sea cryptids. It has not 1, but 3 glowing cryptids in it. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you sharing it, liking, and subscribing. Big shoutout to Chad Arment, Carl Schuker, Astrosloth, and Bamias. Another huge shoutout to my Patreons Gerhard, Timothy, Wildworld, Mackindude, Jason Cook, and John R. If you want to check out the Center for Fortean Zoology, I'll also link their YouTube channel below. Thank you again for watching, keep an eye out for glowing pterosaurs, and I'll see you in the next one.